Without a doubt, Ninjago minifigures are the best thing about Ninjago. Some are really cool, others aren't so great. So in today's video, we're going to be ranking my favourite Ninjago minifigures from each season, but I'm going to give myself a challenge. I have to build a scene for each one of these minifigures. So without further ado, let's get bricked up. Let's start with the pilots.
Wait a minute, I'm still black.
This is the season that started it all, and I personally really liked it. But there's one minifigure that really stands out in this season, and that is Samukai. He is easily the best 4-armed LEGO minifigure. He has an openable mouth and a chunky spine, which is a really cool mold, and he's an incredibly expensive minifigure. Overall, I give this figure a 9 out of 10, only because he uses the other parts from the other skeletons. Let's recreate the scene where Samukai fights Wu for the Sword of Fire. And this is the finishing result. Unfortunately, I do not own the original Wu, so I feel like Evo Wu will do. I gave Wu the Sword of Fire, and I gave Samukai the other remaining golden weapons. I'm quite happy with how this build turned out, and I give it a 5 out of 10. It's unfortunate Samukai died straight away though. Season 1 of Ninjago is next. Before my next pick, I want to give an honourable mention to NRG-J. This is a fantastic minifigure and is no doubt the best Ninjago J minifigure ever, not just because it's really expensive. I love how shiny this figure looks with printing on every part of this figure. Even the ninja mask has some printing on it. You can see J's lightning symbol on the left side of his chest. This is a straight gazillion out of 10, but there's one legendary minifigure that's better than this. And his name is Chokun. We need to hype up this legend a lot more. I love the mix of orange and metal on this guy, especially on the head. He's not actually worth too much, but he is quite rare and hard to find. This figure breaks the ranking. Now every scene Shogun is in, he's always funny.
A poisoned giant ham sandwich?
I would hope not. I'm so hungry.
But there's one particular scene that hits close to home. That's right, we're going to build the talent show scene. Here it is. I gave these two snakes hair to make it accurate to the show. Overall, I give this build a 7 out of 10. Do you remember the end of the first trilogy? That's right, Season 2 is next. There's just so many awesome minifigures in this rave that I do not have. But there's one exclusive minifigure that stands out from the rest, and that is Kimono Lloyd. I love the blend of green, gold and black, and the dragon symbol looks so cool in gold as well. This figure is also worth about $8 to $25. I'll give this figure a 9 out of 10. There's one scene in this season that I know we all hate but remember, and that's when Lloyd hesitates to kill his father. Since this is so rememberable, we're going to be remaking this scene.
6.5 hours later.
And just like that, we are done. I added some vegetation and I really wanted to have a tilted earth driller. So using these translucent pieces, I came up with a technique to put it in a tilted position. I quite like how this build turned out, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Next up, we have on my top 3 favourite seasons, Rebooted. This was the wave of sets to give us the ninjas hair pieces for the first time, but it introduced us to a new character that actually got character development throughout the whole show. If you haven't guessed already, it's P.I.X.A.L. She was such a nice character to have in the show, and her minifigure is even better. First of all, I love getting her hairpiece in a titanium colour. It's very rare that we get that, also the printing is phenomenal. My only problem with this figure is that it's got no leg printing, but with that being said, I still give this figure a 7 out of 10. To me, there's one scene in this season where P.I.X.A.L really shines, and that's when she's doing Spinjitzu with Zane. Since this happened in Ed and Edna's junkyard, I built some scrap parts around the area. Also, to add a bit of magic, I created this Spinjitzu effect around Zane and P.I.X.A.L. And to top it all off, I added ninjoids to it surrounding Zane and P.I.X.A.L. Overall, I think this is one of the most accurate builds yet, and I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Season 4 is my absolute favourite season of Ninjago, and the minifigures really shine. The best minifigures from this season are Sensei Garmadon, Pythor, Titanium Zane, and those Elemental Masters. But there can only be one true winner. Now for those of you who don't know, I really like Cole, especially in Season 4. Which is why this minifigure takes the #1 spot for Season 4. You can't go wrong with this figure. I really like seeing his gorilla symbol in the back of him, and I love the golden printing on this figure, which I thought was Ninjago language, but when I tried translating it, I couldn't find any of these letters in the Ninjago dictionary. So let me know in the comments if you've been able to translate this. Anyways, I give this figure an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, there's one scene in Season 4 where Cole lays on Kai's bed and he gets tipped over into a secret passageway. So my plan is to build a Technic feature that will rotate the bed. Let's get to it.
3:28 a.m.
And after an hour or two of trying to find the right Technic feature, I am finished. So here's how it turned out. I didn't want to properly deck the room with detail since 1, I'm not a LEGO designer, and 2, the feature is more important. Speaking of detail though, I added those chocolate shell peas that Cole loves so much. But here's the feature, just place a figure on the bed and rotate this knob that's on the back. Overall this build gets a 10 out of 10 just because of that feature. Now since the video is quite long, I have decided to divide it into parts. So stay tuned for the next couple of videos.